Hey, good evening yogis on Facebook. Wednesday 6 o'clock, time for 1 hour of therapeutic bodywork. Yoga Asana, breathing through our nose. We're going to do some anatomically correct postures because yoga has this incredible ability to meet you where you are, no matter where you are in your week or your day, no matter where you are in your body or your mood. Yoga will meet you there, and in exchange for a bit of hard work and some sweat and some concentration, it offers generally a trip closer to your center, to that truer, happier, healthier self, which you have surely experienced many times, but maybe it comes and goes, and this is a practice designed to boost you along that axis. So through the practice of asana, we create tapas, which is heat, which can burn away the impediments which are holding us back, muddying our clear vision and perception of the universe around us. And how nice it would be if we could burn away those impediments and flow more naturally. Encourage you not to believe me, but to try for yourself. Feel for yourself. I'll cue you through some movements and some breathing suggestions. This thing is 99% practice, 1% theory. So let's go. Have a great practice. Remember, breathing through your nose. You can apply this. You can apply this practice to yourself very gently if you're in the mood for that. A lot of self-compassion. But you can also roar like a lion and really go for it. So wherever you're feeling good, play that boundary of pushing yourself, and let's go. So let's come up to the front of the mat. We're going to stand at the front of the mat, feet together. I'm just going to be able to be seen. Feet together, arms out to the side. Lift your shoulders and spread your fingers. Mouth is closed, you're breathing through your nose, you're pressing the soles of your feet down, rooting down into the ground. If there was a book on the top of your head, you're lifting it up. So you're lengthening through the spine. Press your hips up consciously. Raise your hands up, palms are facing each other, and really go for a full body stretch. Pressing down to the soles of the feet, but every other particle in your body rises up. Breathing deeply into your belly button. Put your upper arms behind your ears. Your neck is still relaxed. Now your knees are bent as if you're hanging from two parallel bars. Try and stack your entire torso over your hips, and maybe you want to pull your ribs back a bit. You're in a nice prayer position now. Your fingers are spread broadly, and your forearms are a straight line, forcefully pressing your hands together. Hands down your knees. Sinking down into your hips, lengthening the back of your spine, pressing your hips down. Toes are lifting to keep your feet active. Hips are pressing down, you're lifting up to the top of your head. Okay, now hands are alongside your feet on the mat, quite broad. Slide them back if you can, and then step your right knee down, just behind the left heel. Okay, and then rise up. It's quite tricky to balance. So you're on the left foot. Your right shin is behind you on the top of the foot. Root down to the foot and the top of the shin, top of the foot. Everything else is lifting up. Hands on your hips. And then out to the side. So really press down into the mat. Shoulders are lifting. Concentrate on your breath. You might find it a little bit wobbly. Arms up, stretching up. Really stretch through the hips and through the shoulders. Prayer position. Forearms are a straight line, fingers are spread, middle finger is vertical. Left elbow to the right knee. So you're twisting over towards the knee, but there's still lift in the shoulders. Pressing down into the foot and the top of the shin. Knees touching the elbow. You're lifting and twisting. Okay, back to center. Hands down alongside the foot, feet together and switch sides. Left knee down, tuck it behind the right foot. You're balancing the foot on the top of the shin, top of the foot. Arms out to the side. Breathing through the nose, shoulders are lifting. Pressing that knee down, foot down, everything else is lifting. Lift your arms up to the ceiling. Stretch through the shoulders, through the hips. Deep breathing through the nose. Keep lifting and stretching. Prayer position. Concentrate on your form. Make a nice, powerful prayer. Left elbow twists over onto that front right knee. Lift the shoulders. Elbows digging into the knee. You're keeping your balance. Lengthening from the hips through to the top of the head while you twist. Okay, hands down, feet together. Right foot back, big distance. Okay, so my front left knee is directly over the ankle. My back foot is as far back as I can get it, and the heel is vertical over the toe box. Play with the height of your hips so that you're a straight line from the heel to the top of your head. Really stretch, press that sole of the foot back. Your knees anchored over the front ankle. The back leg is pulling back through the hips. Keep pulling back with the hips and allow them to lift so that the front leg straightens. Pull the hips back and up. Your shoulders are pressing forward and up. You're on high tiptoes on the back foot. Okay, now slowly bend the front knee again. Go back to the position you were in. The deep front lunge with the knee bent. And then we straighten the leg by lifting the hips up and pulling them back. Shoulders are lifting and pressing forward. We're in a straight leg position. High tiptoes on the back. If possible, can you keep the legs straight and step the back foot towards next to the front? Like a hinge. Like a clock with straight legs. Okay, left foot back, big distance. The front right knee is over the ankle. The back foot's far back. You can do it on your fingertips or the flats of your hands, whatever you prefer. Play with the height of your hips to get good alignment and length from the top of your head through the hips all the way to the heel. It should be one nice line. Okay, lift the hips, pull them back so your legs are straight. Your shoulders are pressing forward towards your ears. Keep driving the hips back. That inner hip first and then the back hip. There's a bit of a rotation happening in the hips. The one's further forward, the one's further back. That back thigh is driving back. Okay, bend the front knee again. Knee is bent deeply. Front lunge. Lengthening from the front knee to the back heel. Once more, lift the hips, pull them back. Shoulders pressing forward. Keeping your legs straight. Step forward. Feet are next to each other. Interlace your hands behind your back. Your knees can be bent or they can be straight. You might want to straighten the legs. Relax the neck. Okay, now bend the knees deeply. Keep the arms behind you. Lift your shoulders. Come slowly back up to standing. Nice. Tapas is rising. Ah, Josh. Nice. Asana ring. Feet together at the front of the mat. We're going to balance on our left foot. Lift up our right knee. Interlace the hands over the knee. And keep that front shin, not dangling, but like active, lifting. Now you're rooting down into the standing leg. Pressing down into the mat all the way through the line to the top of the head. That lifted knee is active. Keep your balance. Breathe deeply through the nose. Focus on the spot in front of you. It might help steady stand. Switch sides. Now I'm standing on my right leg, lifting my left knee. Get a grip on the knee. But that front shin is active. Toes are lifting. Shin is lifted. I'm rooting down through the standing leg. Trying to make the top of my head as tall as possible. Feet together, knees bent, arms up, stretching up, sinking down into the knees. Prayer, wrists on your knees, deep bent knee. Prayer, hands down alongside the sides of the mat at the front, and step back to a plank. Just adjust my view. Okay, so your hands are broader than your shoulders. Fingers are spread broad like a cat, middle finger facing forward. Your feet are as far back as possible, so we're a nice long plank. The line from my shoulders back to my heels, lengthening that, and be as straight as possible. Breathing through the nose. Okay, knees down. Flip over onto the tops of your feet. Press your chest forward, pull your shoulders back. Ease into that, breathing through the nose. When you're ready, lift your knees off the ground. Picture your thighs lifting, pressing into the back of the hamstrings. Lift your whole torso up, so there's lift. Okay, back onto all fours. Tuck your toes. Pull your hips back. Maybe you want to actually shuffle back a little bit to make it a slightly longer position. Then drive your feet into the mat, straightening the legs, driving the thighs back. It's a long downward dog. Press the mat forward with your hands. Use the traction to pull your hips back. Imagine your thighs are pulling back, stretching your spine. Stretch and breathe into the most sensitive, stiff area. And you really link your attention to the in-breath and try and gently stretch through that area, lengthening the vertebra, activating through the sensitive part. Couple more breaths. Okay, knees down, wide apart, toes are touching. Come up on your fingertips, elbows remain lifting. Sink your groins down. Down and back. Press your belly button down towards the ground. You might want to relax your forehead on the ground. Keep your shoulders lifting and lengthening. And just remind yourself, why are you practicing this? Is it feeling good? Okay. Back up onto all fours. We're kneeling now. Knees are together. One of my balls on my feet. Right leg straight out behind you. Left arm forward. Now try and lift your hips and shoulders as high as possible while you stretch and lengthen. So your toes are touching, your knees touching, but everything else is lifting. Holding it there, breathing. Breathe, lengthen, stretch. Okay, hand down, knees are together. Step your left foot back, you're on the ball of the left foot. Right arm forward. Lift your hips, lift that front shoulder, the shoulders, and lengthen. Drive the back heel back, but everything else is lifting and lengthening forward. A few breaths here. Okay, knees together. Right arm forward, so like I'm sliding on my fingertips, like balancing on my little fingers. I guess you can use however you want to support yourself. Left arm forward. Right leg back, parallel to the mat. Just hold the leg parallel to the mat for now. Lift the back leg a little higher. Lift the front arm. Now lengthen from the sole of your foot to the fingertips. Back to neutral. Knees are down, hands are spread broad. Right hand slides as far forward as is comfortable. Left leg straight up behind you, holding it parallel to the mat. Move from the thigh, so visualize the thigh lifting and then lengthening back into that heel. Your shoulders are high, supporting yourself with that front arm. Lift the back leg a little bit higher, and then right arm up. Holding it here for a couple of breaths. And down. Knees are together, hands are spread broad. Right leg straight out behind you, keeping the leg hip high and straight Rotate it out to the side, 90 degrees, but you're holding it hip height. Looking out to the side. 1 or 2 more breaths. Bring the leg back parallel to the mat. And down, knees are together. Other side. Left leg straight out behind you, keep it straight. Swing it out to the side. You're pressing that thigh back, but the heel is right up 90 degrees to the side. Swing it behind you, back down to neutral. Knees are together. Right leg, left arm. Stretch on the inhale. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, knee to elbow. Keep a nice form. Fingers are spread. Hand remains vertical. Not a whole lot of twisting. You try and move this thing along the axes that we're intending to move. Okay, back to neutral. Knees are together. Hands are spread broad. Left leg out. Right arm forward. Stretch. Press the wall back with the sole of your foot. Stretch forward to the fingertips on the inhale. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, stretch. Synchronize. Move slowly according to your breath. 1 breath per movement. Okay, back to neutral. Shuffle your knees back a little bit, spread your hands broad, tuck your toes, straighten your legs, drive your thighs back. Allow your thighs to pull your hips. Hips are pulling on each vertebra like a chain. Maybe activate through all the vertebra. Maybe you want to drop the height of your shoulders slightly. Pick up your ribs a little bit. Might get a little bit more length back into the sitting bones. Now slowly walk up the mat. As many steps as you can. All the way to the top until your feet are touching. Interlace your hands behind your back. Keep your toes lifting so your knees are active. Sink your hips down. Gently come up. Nice. Mountain pose. Feet are pressing down to the mat. Simply standing tall. Chin is lifted. Arms are alongside your body. Check that they're not forward or back. Nicely alongside, so your palms are facing your sides. Okay, we're going to step to some side angle poses. Use your arms for balance. Step your right foot back big distance. As far as you can, pretty much. Both legs are straight. The front foot, the inside line, is straight, parallel to the side of the mat. The back foot's at 90 degrees. Hands on your hips. Don't lock your knees. There's a slight micro bend in the knees, even though your legs are straight. Drive into the mat. Stretching the mat will get some feedback into the hips. Keeping the hands on your hips. Bend the front knee deeply, moving exactly forward, not out to the side, forward, so that the bent knee is over the ankle. Driving down the back leg into the heel, the thigh is pressing towards the back of the room, which is rotating your hips here. You should feel a nice hip rotation. Keeping the squat quite deep, arms up. The back right arm is on the back thigh or knee, wherever. And increase the distance between the hands. Bend the front knee deeper. Sliding the back hand down the leg, front arm is up. This is reverse warrior. Back arm up, front hand down on the knee. Both arms are parallel to the mat. Pulling your shoulders back so that they're over your hips. Warrior 2. Gazing over the front hand towards the front. Keep the legs strong. Front hand goes down on the inside of the foot. Fingertips or flat of your hand. Stretching from hand to hand. Hips are lifting. Deep side angle pose. Back up to warrior 2. Hands on your hips. Step forward. Deep one. Intense. Got to do the other side now for symmetry. Feet together, use your hands for balance. Left foot back, big distance. Check your alignment. So I'm really widely stanced. Front foot parallel to the front of the mat. Back foot parallel to the back of the mat. Knees are not locked, they're active, stretching the mat. Hands on the hips. Bend the front knee deeply. This is warrior 2 legs. Arms up. And you bend the front knee a bit deeper. Really stretch up with the arms, getting that back foot as far back as you can. Back left hand on the left leg at the back. Front hand up. Stretch up, stretch down. Breathing through the nose. Warrior 2, arms are parallel to the mat, gazing forward. Oh, sorry, we forgot this one. Front hand on the knee, back hand up. Slightly different order. Top hand stretching up, front hand goes down on the inside of the foot, touching the mat, side angle pose. Back up to warrior 2, hands on the hips, step forward. Good work. Intense asana. Hips don't lie. Feet together, knees bent. Utkatasana, chair pose. Hands down alongside the feet. Right arm up. Looking to the side. Left fingertips are on the ground. Sinking the hips down, lengthening to the top of the head. You're always lengthening the spine in a twist. Okay, top hand down, other hand up. Top hand down, step back to plank. Once more. Hands at the front of the mat, spread broad. Plank is straight, plank is firm. Flip over onto the tops of the feet. Lower the thighs and press them forward. Hips pressing forward, shoulders pressing back. Upward dog. Knees wide apart, toes touching, sinking the groins back. Child's pose. A rest position. But still working. Opening up, it might feel like a nice relief. Often we just have to shift the intensity. We don't have to stop it. We just have to move it around in the body. Each bit gets a turn to work. Okay, back up to all fours, tuck your toes. Now we're going to prepare to go into downward dog. We really want to go into it with a long torso, especially the side of your torso. If you visualize the geometry here, pull your hips back, press your shoulders forward. You want your torso as long as possible. If you are curved, you're not long. If you are bowed, you're not long. So do a bit of a curvature like a cat, bow like a cow. Come up to the center. The center line is where you should be the longest. Keep pulling the hips back, shoulders pressing forward. Keeping all of that. Drive your thighs back. Downward dog. 5 long breaths. Synchronize the stretch to the inhale. Hold your length on the exhale. Maybe sway your hips from side to side. Feel if there's any asymmetry. Highly likely. Maybe you need to pull slightly more actively on the one side than the other. Okay, knees down, elbows down. Our forearms are parallel, fingers are spread broad. If you've got any cloth on your, you've got to be like bare elbowed on this one. Bare elbows, no t-shirt. Tuck your toes. Pull your shoulders back. Now straighten your legs. You might need to step back slightly. Keep pulling your shoulders back and you're on high tiptoes, driving your thighs back. It's like a downward dog, but it's through the shoulders. Press down into the elbows, pulling the shoulders back. This is the dolphin. What can you do to get your hips further back, towards the back of the room? Okay, knees down, come up onto your hands, tuck your toes, downward dog, straighten your legs. Standing version of what you just did. You can do this 1,000 times. It's a really useful maneuver. Okay, tiptoe your feet together in the center of the mat. You're on high tiptoes. Lift your right leg. Lift up the thigh and then stretch all the way up to the heel. Your standing legs on high tiptoes. Get that top leg as high as possible, possibly touching the ceiling. Okay, with a straight leg, lower it down. The balls of the feet are touching. Other side, left leg up. Moving from the thigh, stretch up, hip moves up, heel moves up. Drive up on the standing tiptoe to lift the top leg a little bit higher. Okay, feet down, feet together. Using as many steps as possible. Walk up the center line of the mat, all the way to the top. Hands behind your back. Bend the knees, hands over prayer in front of you. And we lift up to standing. Great. Catch your breath. Find your steadiness. Inhale, stretch up with the arms. Keep synchronizing the stretch up, the lengthening to the inhale, pressing down onto the floor, stretching up. We want to forward bend with a flat back, so we're going to pull our hips back like a hinge, like folding in exactly the middle of our body. So first we stretch up on the inhale. Exhale, we pull the hips back and go down with a flat back, all the way down to the forward bend. Yeah, you can bend your knees if you prefer. Step your right leg back big distance, knee down, arms up. Now press the hips up towards this front knee. Press your hips towards your front knee. Often I say press towards the heel, but maybe visualize pressing your hips up towards the front knee. Get your fingertips as high as possible. Left elbow on the left knee, fingers, both hands are spread for power. Activate that whole right side of your body. Lifting the right thigh. Right thigh pressing up and back. Hands down. Step forward, feet together, other foot back, left foot back. Big distance, and then knee down, arms up. Drive the hips up towards that front knee. Strange cue. It's like you're driving along the axis of the limb. But let's just feel how that feels. Your hands are behind your ears. Your upper arms are behind your ears, I mean. Okay, right elbow on the right knee. Both fingers are spread. Activate the left side of your body. Driving the heel back, lengthening up to the top of the fingertips. Holding the breath through the nose. Okay, we're going to switch side. Hands down, step forward, other leg back. Knee down, arms up, and then a prayer. So your left knee is forward, opposite elbow, right elbow on the left knee. Before you lift, get your hands, fingers spread broad, a nice straight line with the forearms. Press against the knee so your torso is lifted. Get your steadiness. Visualize the torso having its own independent lift. And when you're ready, activate that back leg. Lifting and straightening and driving the heel back. Looking to the side. Lengthening through a twisted body from the heel to the top of your head. One more breath. Drop the back knee. Hands down, switch sides. Step forward, feet together. Opposite knee back. And down. Arms up. Prayer. Left elbow to the right knee. First generate lift and twist. Look to the side. And then lengthen and activate. Lifting that back left leg. Driving the heel back. Couple more breaths. Back knee down, hands down, step forward, feet together. Okay, keeping the knees bent, lift the right leg up. Can you lift the leg parallel to the mat? The standing knee can be straight or bent. Just keep the right leg lifted for a while. Shoulders are lifting. Visualize your thigh lifting, that back thigh. Visualize it lifting. You might want to spread your standing foot to really get traction, rooting down into the ground so that back leg can lift. Just holding it here and breathing through your nose is doing fantastic work. It's quite tiresome. Let's lower that back leg. Other side. Left leg is parallel to the mat. You can play with the front leg. It can be straight or bent, whatever you prefer. Just hold the back leg up. Okay, we're going to do the same again with the other side. Exactly the same again. Right leg is now raised. Spread your hands for a bit more balance. And then that standing leg, grab it with the same side hand, the ankle. So left hand grabs my left ankle. And we're doing a standing split. So I'm trying to lift that back leg up, lower the top of my head. So we're in a splits, standing, using your hand to support yourself. Holding it here for a couple of breaths. And then down, lower the foot next to the other one. Standing splits on the other side. First, left leg up. Right hand grabs the right ankle. Use the left hand to support yourself. Top of the head down, back leg up. The sole of the foot, imagine like a lifting the roof with the sole of the foot or pressing back on the back wall. Standing splits, challenging pose. Both legs down. Walk towards the front of the mat. Now right leg back. And we're going to go into the splits. Wherever you're at is good. So maybe you want to lower the back knee. And you want to shuffle that front heel forward. You might stay here. Go to where your hips are at their limit. And support yourself on the side. And sink into it. Stretch into the hips. Gazing forwards. Hold the stretch for a little while. Okay, we're going to slowly walk over it. There's no graceful way. Shuffle your foot back. Come out of it. Switch sides. Shuffle your way, slide your way down into a splits. Doesn't matter if your front knee and back knee are fairly bent. Play with your own limit. Spend a little bit of time in the splits. It's an intense pose, but it's a goodie. Okay, come out of it. And let's get onto the wall. A bit of inversions. Inversion a day keeps many things at bay. Keeps us healthy. Okay, so get your mat against the wall. And maybe I should go to this side because it's a better angle. Hey, Catherine. Harry. So we're going to do a handstand basically facing away from the wall. Quite a big distance. So it's more like a 45-degree stand. Quite a big distance. Your hands are quite far away from the wall. Do that. Get your feet as high as possible. Spread your fingers. Make sure that your wrists are parallel to the front of the mat so we're not hurting our wrists. Stay here and breathe through the nose. Your feet are as high as you can get them. Your bum's as high as it can be. You try and get a lift. You press away from the floor, lifting your chest up, away from the wall. If it's too much, come down. Whenever you've had enough, come down. Walk down the wall, come back into child's pose. Just catch your breath for the next one. Very good to invert our organs. Heart above the head. Spend the whole day with our head above our heart. It's a bit of a cliche, but I think it's true. And your blood has to pump opposite direction, and it's very good for shifting mood and perspective. Okay, we're going to do the same thing, but now try and bring your hands a bit closer to the wall. It's pretty much as close as you can get them, and still walking up backwards. Or you walk up backwards and then you kind of like walk your hands back to the wall. Don't flip away from the wall and go into like an advanced back bend. Just stay handstanding, coming up like a stink bug, dung beetle, against the wall, moving backwards. It's quite a nice way to come into it. Okay, all the way down. Now check that distance you just did. We're going to do a final one facing the wall. Pretty similar distance. Maybe it's 30 centimeters away from the wall, your fingertips. You're starting off on all fours. Your hands are spread really broad for power and for like balance. Okay, press up into a downward dog, so you straighten your legs. Now the trick with a handstand, we want to get our hips up close to the wall, above, everything stacked above our hands. So in order to get our limbs like right up there, we first got to get our hips more above our hands. And then you jump up. Ideally with kind of straight legs. But so I encourage you to start swinging your legs with straight legs. Choose a side, do a couple of test swings, and then go for like a full swing where you throw your hips towards the wall as you do it. Lift up into a handstand and then press the soles of your feet up. Really do whatever you can to generate lift with your feet. Get the feet as high as you can. When you have enough, come down. Sure. Enough inversions, eh? Handstands, you can grab them throughout the day. You can sneak them in passageways in public places. Yeah. Okay. We're kneeling at the front of our mat. Feet are right up, the knees are right up at the front of the mat. Come down into your hands and then step your right foot back, big distance. Just swivel that front knee a little bit, so you're in a half pigeon. That's an unusual way of coming into it. The back knee is off the ground, and we're using our thighs and the strength of our legs to lift up, balancing with my fingertips alongside my body. Now I'm stretching my hands up. Lifting. I'm going to press my right elbow to my left knee. Keep the lift in your torso. Just gently touch the knee. Holding there for a couple of breaths. Balancing and lifting and twisting. One more breath. Hands down. Now I want you to switch sides by flicking your legs. Like that. One flick motion. Let's do that again. Flick other side. And back. Once more. Flick. Flick. Okay. Right knee's bent. Left leg straight out behind you on the ball of the back foot. Hips are lifting. Using the strength of the legs to lift. Back thighs pressing up. Prayer. Left elbow to the right knee. Keep the lift in the torso. Not much longer. Hands down. Step back to all fours. Side body's long. Right arm out to the side. Bend the elbow and then rotate that whole structure down so the upper arm lands on the mat. Let your right arm be spread out alongside, like palm facing up. Arm is straight, palm facing up. Left arm. Now visualize hugging a cube. So you're trying to stretch your hands down as far as possible along a 90-degree cube. Hips are pulling back. Keep pulling your hips back while we're in this upper body chest, this upper chest twist. If you want that top hand, tuck it behind your back. Grab the t-shirt or shuffle your fingers on the inside of your thigh. Can you use that to pull your upper shoulder open, looking up at the ceiling? Really opening up and twisting up that top chest. Pull your hips back, sway them from side to side. Check out where it's most interesting. Okay, slowly come out of it. Unwrapping, hands back up to the front. Other side straight away, left arm out to the side, bend the elbow. Rotate the whole structure down. Arm flat on the floor, palm facing up. Right arm up, hugging the cube. Hips are pulling back. Really press down into the mat with your left shoulder. Tuck that top hand behind you. Grab the thigh. Open up the shoulder. Sway your hips from side to side, pulling them back. Explore the movement and the release. Release. Work your way out of it. Fingertips on the side of the mat. Now move slowly into this one. Chest and chin down towards the ground. Thoracic up, chest open up. Holding it here for a few breaths. Not for too long. Slowly lift your chest. Come down onto your belly. Wiggle the hips around. Make sure you're comfortable. Bend the knees behind you and reach back and grab your shins. If you can't reach your shins, just do one at a time. Ease into this. Let your legs do the work. Drive your shins back and let the shins pull the shoulders back. So really focus on activating through the legs. Keep your neck relaxed. It's almost like you're gazing slightly downwards still. Release. Fingertips in front of you. Knees are out to the side, feet are touching. Lift your knees off the ground. Make it slightly harder, bring the knees together, still off the ground, and then widen them again. Bring them together, widen. Bring them together, lower them down to the ground. Okay, another variation of the back end. Flip over onto your back. Arms out to the side, feet are together. Lift your hips. Hips and belly button pressing towards the ceiling. Roll your shoulders underneath each other, so you maybe bring them slightly closer towards each other. The arms are slide to the side, palms are facing up. Lift your left foot onto your right knee. Now drive the hips up. Keeping both knees at the same height. Can you keep both hips at the same height? Pressing up equally on both hips. That lifted knee, straighten the leg towards the ceiling, sole of the foot towards the ceiling. Iyengar leg, too much, okay, lower the leg. Both feet are together, hips are still lifted. Right heel is on the left knee. Strength of the left leg, drive the hips up. Keeping the knees and the hips the same height. When you've had enough, lift that lifted knee straight up towards the ceiling. Iyengar leg. Feet together, lower the hips down. Intense move. Whew. Okay, hands grab your ankles. Don't let your feet, your knees splay out. Your knees are parallel to the body. Grab the ankles, drive the hips up using the strength of the legs. Tuck the shoulders underneath each other. Hands towards the ceiling. Now place the hands on the mat facing towards your body. Now we're going to get to a slightly more advanced lift of this. Lift your head up, shoulders up, and come onto the crown of your head. Broaden your hands so that you have your balance. Stay in this head supported back bend. Breathing through your nose. Lift the head, come down to your shoulders, all the way down to your spine. Legs are straight out in front of you. Arms out to the side. Bend the left knee and hook the toe behind the right knee. So the right leg is straight, the left knee is bent. Right hand on the left knee. You're gazing out to your left hand, which is palm facing out. While you're gazing out, number one action, lengthen down into the straight leg heel. Drive length through the body. Now the secondary action is pull that knee towards the ground, the opposite side. So you can't see what your knee is doing. You're pulling it towards the ground. You're gazing out over that front arm, stretching out into that straight heel. Opening up the sacroiliac joint, the holy bone, the base of your spine. Okay, let go with that hook knee. Head is center. Make sure to center yourself out entirely. right knee hooks behind the left knee. So right knee is bent, left leg is straight. Hook the right toe behind the left knee. Gazing out to the right, right arm is out to the right. Left hand on the right knee. Lengthen to the far heel. Lengthen through the body. And then pull the knee down. Looking in the opposite direction. Focus on lengthening. And then twisting. Should feel good, don't go too far. Release. Bend your knees. Pull your knees, using interlaced hands, pull your knees towards your chest. Lift the neck slightly. Look to the right, up to the center, and look over to the left. Up to the center, and then relax the neck, just roll from side to side. And then rolling up onto your right side. And up to sitting. Final asana or two. Final twist. Right knee is at the front of the mat and bent. Left foot is hooked over the knee. Manually broaden your buttocks by actually manipulate your sitting bones as broad as possible. Pull the shin towards you quite vigorously. So you're sitting tall, trying to get our lower back as vertical as possible, possibly even slightly projecting forward. Left knee, left hand pressing towards you. Right hand goes up, stretch up, and then hook the elbow in front of the knee. Palm facing forward, back hand supports you, finger on the fingertips. Lift, pressing down into the sitting bones, lift to the top of the head, and then twist. First lift, then twist. Twisting from your sitting bones to your shoulders, using the traction of the elbow against the knee to twist the torso. Neck stays relaxed, neck's not involved. Torso, you're wringing it out like a dishcloth, wringing it out, depleting the torso of circulation temporarily, restricting it. And then when it comes back to full circulation, it feels wonderful. Let's switch sides. Left knee's on the mat, right foot hooks over it, pulling the shin towards your chest. Left arm up, elbow hooks in front of knee, palm facing the front. Lift and lengthen, and then twist. Release. Final asana. Right knee bent, left knee also bent. It's cow ear pose, Gomukhasana. So it doesn't matter if your knees are above each other, just try and get them stacked on top of each other, whichever feels comfortable, whatever the angles. Try and get your knees symmetrical, as close to being above each other as possible. And then your feet. Doesn't matter how far out they are to the side, but just try and get everything symmetrical. Sometimes just observing symmetry and trying to make that pattern with your body feels very therapeutic. Arms up. Maybe tilting slightly forward. Sitting bones are driving down, lengthening up. We're in a prayer. Lean forward so that your prayer is just in front of your knees. Try and lengthen the back of your spine. Final asana. Switch sides. Can you do it without touching your legs? Try and wiggle yourself into position without using your hands if possible. Knees are stacked on top of each other. First we're stretching up. We're tilting forward so our sitting bones can drop down to their full capacity. Prayer. And I'm tilting forward so my prayer is kind of just in front of my knee. nice compressed closing of the hips after all of that rotational opening of the hips. Okay. That was the final asana. Let's finish off with a little bit of sitting and breathing. Maybe you want to lift yourself up slightly with a pile of books. Quite nice. Take your favorite books. Lift your bum bones up to about 10 centimeters. It's kind of really good to start to slouch. So we want to just practice meditation for a minute or two or three. We've done all the hard work of the asanas. This is kind of a reward. But the same principles apply. We're wanting to breathe deeply, fully in our chest, using our diaphragm, and really just observe. Can we do less for the next few minutes? Keep your attention within the room, within your body, ideally witnessing your breath, savoring the quality of your breath, trying to practice a judgment-free attitude, cultivating a sense of contentment. And we just sit and observe in relative comfort. If you imagine your mind like ripples on a lake, we're giving ourselves a little bit of time for the ripples to settle. Scan your body for any tension. Is your jaw relaxed? Your eyeballs, can you relax your eyeballs and your forehead? Relax the back of your neck. And we can end off with a slightly esoteric practice. We want to make some vibration with our body. I literally mean hum or sing. I hope you're in an appropriate social setting. So you can keep your mouth closed and hum, or you can open your mouth and make any sound you want. We want to just feel vibration in the chest and an audio vibration. 3 times, deeply. Breathing practice which hits other areas and levels. Namaste, thank you for sticking with it and practicing together. I can feel you there, and thanks. It was same again next week. It's a deal. Cheers.